Hey guys, so I'm gonna try to fit this in before the rain comes back, which could be any minute. But I've been sick with COVID, so kind of been non-active in the garden for a few days now. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I came out to check on things and noticed that since I wasn't around to do anything about it, the squash vine borers finally did enough to damage the plants. Now, since the damage is a little bit past what I normally would let it get to, because I haven't really been active in the garden due to not feeling well, I am going to hit it with everything I got. We are going to be injecting with BT today, straight into the stems to get rid of anything that might be in there, because it's past the point where I can dig them out. And if I don't, I'm going to lose these plants. So, BT. I'm going to butcher how to pronounce it. It's Bacillus thuringiensis, or thuricide. This is an organic compound that is basically a bacteria that is only harmful to caterpillars, grubs, and larvae. Essentially, they eat it, they lose their appetite, they starve to death. So it'll stop them from eating the inside of the plant, but you need to get it to them. Because once they're inside the stem, anything you spray on the outside isn't actually going to get to them because they have to ingest it. So you're going to arm yourself with an old mug, prescription coffee. It is too small of a mug for it to be in use. A syringe. I usually go with about 20 gauge. That keeps it from getting clogged as easily as a smaller one or the bigger one, and still allows free flow. BT mixture in with water is about a 20-to-1 ratio, so 20 water, 1 BT. And we're going to bring it up into our syringe and start injecting the plant. Well, this part might be a little too far beyond gone. It's completely separated right there. I did bury it earlier until I could get out here with some BT, until the rain settled down. But it does have some roots, so I'm hoping it'll bounce back. And you can also see some BT damage right there, or some vine borer damage right there. So I'm going to inject right into the stem, all around the damage, above it, below it, and everywhere in between. The stems are hollow. You'll know you're in that hollow space when it injects freely. But if you go too far, you can go straight through the stem. Not far enough, and you won't be able to put the plunger in. So I'm just gonna keep on injecting here, and you can use an entire syringe per plant. Really depends on how many spots you have in that plant that you are trying to kill off a borer. On many squash varieties, summer squash varieties, zucchini, crookneck, patty pan, if you bury the stem, it will reroot. So I'm going to go ahead and just bury this stem in hopes it reroots and recovers. That's pretty gnarly looking, but oh well. I have a lot more plants to inject, but the rest of it seems to be doing okay, and this thing has seen some borer damage in the past, and it's recovered because I inject BT. But an example of how well this works. Look at how bad off that stem is. That stem is chewed up almost all the way to the ground. I mean, it's hardly even, there's nothing really left of it there. But I buried it. It put out new roots. I think there's one right there you can see. The plant is still flowering and fruiting. And doing great. They just need a little bit of time to recover. Fun fact, a lot of times people will talk about how the vine borers will lay their eggs on the vine of the plant. But from my experience, I find a lot of them will actually lay on the leaf stem. And then the borer will hatch, say eggs laid right there, will go through the leaf stem, which is also hollow, and work its way back until it gets to the main vine of the plant and go right in from there. So it is perfectly fine to also take a few leaves and inject BT into the leaf itself, especially if you find one that has a little bit of damage on the stem. It looks like a little brown spot. Let's see if I can find one. Hold on. Here is a perfect example of how the borer will start in the leaf stem. Found this when I was pruning off some dead leaves, and travel their way down. See, that is frass. That's borer poop. Let's see if he's still in there. Well, I split the entire leaf open and he is not in there, which tells me I need to inject into the stem right where I cut that leaf off. But you can go ahead and just inject that leaf if you think it's still in there, if it hasn't made it to the plant, or just cut the leaf off, the entire stem. But yeah, and feel free to inject all along the stem wherever you think there might be activity, or even where you don't think there might be activity, as just kind of a precaution. You don't need to inject a lot. I'm just putting the minutest little amount in here and there. Going a little bit more heavy-handed where I think there is an active borer. Oh, not in the open cavity. There we go. But yeah, all this, there was a borer in there at one point, and the plant rerooted in many different places and healed and survived. You can see that's pretty soft right there. There might be an active borer in there, so I'll just give that a little dose too. And I'm gonna go around and treat every single one of my plants, even if they don't have any vine borers in them that I can see right now, just because it's been a while since I've been able to get out here and do any kind of maintenance, so it's very possible that they're in there. They're just too small to see damage on them yet. But during peak season, when you're noticing damage frequently, you're going to want to repeat this at least once a week. This bacteria is only viable, it's only active for 2 days after it's mixed with water. So after 2 days, your plants aren't protected anymore. If you repeat it every week, that means by the time the next wave of grubs hatches and makes it into your plants, they should be getting a fresh round of BT to munch on shortly after. And it is perfectly safe to eat any produce harvested off of this immediately after treatment. You don't have to wait. The treatment does not get transferred to the squash, and it's also not harmful to people at all. I would say careful when injecting not to poke yourself, and be aware that sometimes if you hit a dense spot in the stem, this will spray back out the back. I've gotten BT spray in my face more than once, so kind of stand aside when you're injecting. Well, I'm still not feeling 100%. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. So I'm going to knock this out while I still have the energy to do so. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'll see you next time. Bye.